when I walked out of there, I told Lorenzo, I'm going to be really realistic. Like, I'm trying to be very honest with myself. I went from being a 9 to a 3, I said, right?
I was like, wow, that's a big...
It was a huge leap. I am finally on my way to see a pregnancy chiropractor. How do you feel? How do you feel for me right now?
Excited for you. Relieved for her.
I have had a lot of pregnancy lower back pain.
She has.
Have sciatic nerve issues. So
Her sciatic's on the fritz.
as I've been gaining weight during this pregnancy, my back is just taking a rude awakening.
A beating.
Can I say that? A beating, a rude awakening. It just keeps getting more intense and more intense. It's
Nothing
like it now.
Good morning. No good mornings about it.
It now feels like a pinched nerve. Like if I move a certain way, I'm driving. I drive with my right leg. So if you know about sciatic, it's along your right side of your body, and so can't really take it anymore. And I'm only 22 weeks, so I've got a ways to go still. About 18 weeks left. That sounds really fast. Also, 18 weeks, and so I'm thinking as I'll be gaining more weight, it's obviously going to get a little bit worse. So I found a pregnancy chiropractor / massage therapist / acupuncturist.
In 1 mile, turn left to merge onto CA 210
She
West.
does it all. What do you want? What do you need? Want any cupcakes?
I've never had acupuncture done, so or chiropractic work. So
I've never been accurate before.
this camera is really, really shaky. Anyway, we'll see how it goes. I'm hoping it goes great. The Yelp reviews were like, I wish I would have come here before. It was amazing.
It's gonna be amazing.
So it might be too good to be true,
Yeah.
but we'll see. And I told Lorenzo, sometimes I feel like, or he says, sometimes acupuncture can feel like it's
Torture.
a placebo. No, like a placebo, right?
Yeah.
Like it doesn't really
It's all
help.
in your head.
Or chiropractic work. But some people really love it. So I'm
I think
thinking
everybody's bodies are different, so some people might be a little more sensitive to it, and it'll help them, as opposed to someone else that don't really feel the.
my pain is so
reactions.
real that a placebo probably wouldn't work.
Mm-hmm.
So I will let you know. All right, you guys, it's day 2. Yesterday we were trying out a new little phone thing that we got from Costco that goes on our windshield so that if I'm recording something, I have something to stabilize the phone. So we were testing it out, so it looks kind of shaky. We were just looking at it.
Mm-hmm.
And then after I went to go see the chiropractor, I was like out, went home, took a nap. Lorenzo said, don't you want to update like the video to see or to show how it went? And I'm like, I don't want to do anything. My energy went super, super low, but a good low. Like I was so relaxed and I didn't want to energize myself with anything. I wanted my body to kind of, what would you say, like detox of, I don't know, just like relax. So this is how the acupuncture went. So yesterday we were kind of talking a little bit about the pain that I've been in, which has been pretty excruciating. I'm someone who I always think like, okay, the pain could get worse. It could get worse. It could get worse. So I try to almost minimize the amount of pain I'm in, but tell them, babe, like, how was I?
She couldn't even walk yesterday.
This week has been really bad. So
bad. Or in the morning, yesterday in the morning, you couldn't walk at all.
It was hard. So today is Thursday. Today is Thursday. On Saturday or Sunday over the weekend, we went to go try to get some clothes for me since I've been growing out of the clothes I have. And I went into the fitting room, was trying things on. Sorry, I'm running out of breath. Belly is getting bigger.
Bigger.
Like
better.
now my lungs feel like they're in my chest. went into the fitting room, and the simple act of like bending my back to put like one leg in, you know, after the other with pants or dresses or whatever. So just changing and spending those, what, like 25, 30 minutes in the fitting room, I felt like if it was painful, like it shot it up another like 10 levels right after that. So it took me about 2 days, because on Sunday you went to work. All Sunday I was out. I even felt like my belly was kind of contracting. So I took it super easy, almost did absolutely nothing on Sunday, and took some time even on Monday to try and recover, but we've had a lot of things to do. My point is, I tried to be very, very, very realistic before I got to the acupuncturist. Oh, and by the way, you know, so during the week we're doing things, taking my daughter to an orthodontist, and running appointments and things. I've been in the car a lot, so I'll have my hands on the wheel, and I was like, oh, I can't, and I'm like bending my back.
Even though her seat has lumbar support.
My seat, the pilot seat, has lumbar support, which is very helpful. I literally got out of the car, and I'm like, okay, I can't take this position anymore. So it seems like it's really painful. I'm walking and I'm just feeling like this pinch and pull on my lower back, but of course it travels all along my right side, which I've always assumed I just have sciatic nerve issues. When I started working out, this is going to be a really long story time, you guys, so hang in there. If you don't like story times, go to another video or check out of this one, but this is what I'm really experiencing this pregnancy. And so when I was working out, stretching, it started to minimize my pain, and this pain started when I was pregnant with Zoe. So all of my pregnancies, I've really experienced this type of pain. As I gain weight throughout the pregnancy, it just gets worse and worse. But this time in particular, it's been the worst, where I feel almost disabled. Let me lower the window a little bit. So this pain has been disabling this time. I don't know if it's because I'm older. I don't know if because I'm aggravating it. My lifestyle now requires me to be more active. So I tried to be very, very realistic, like point blank, factual, right before I went into this acupuncturist. And I told Lorenzo, from a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being like, I'm not in pain at all, to 10 being like, on my knees, please someone help me, it hurts that bad. I described it personally as a 9, like
the pain level
up there. I bought Crocs. I bought these slides from Crocs, and the reason I bought them was because they're actually like, I forget what they're called, but it's like an orthopedic, super, super squishy, supportive kind of sandal. And it's helped a lot, but it's just kind of taken the edge off. And when I walk and I'm doing my day-to-day, it's intense. Walked in there as a 9. Now, I kind of explained in yesterday's video.
Even though she's a 10.
Oh, thank you. You're so sweet.
Pain was a 9, though.
Pain was... 9. I'm losing my train of thought. Yesterday I described that I was looking everywhere for someone who was, you know, a pregnancy specialist, because last thing I want to do is go in there with someone who doesn't know what they're doing and mess me up,
or just
you know?
doesn't know how to work with, you know, people that are
maternity
expecting, because from what we've seen, anything that has to do, and from what I experienced, anything that has to do with, you know, Chiro, there's a lot of pushing and cracking, and, you know,
it's
there's
scary.
a baby there, so
yeah,
careful with the baby.
Yeah, and Lorenzo's actually done acupuncture, massage therapy, you've done
physical therapy.
Yeah, you've done all sorts of therapy except
Is it pain management?
Pain management therapy. And he's kind of had a different experience than I have. However, we have different reasons why we're in there. This was my first time. I had never done, the only thing I've done is gotten a massage before, but I've never, like, this was like a massage therapy. Like, it's trying to relieve of whatever's going on, right? More medical, I guess you would, or I would kind of categorize it as. This is the first time I've ever done acupuncture, which I was a little bit nervous about, but I was in so much pain. I'm like, I don't care. Like, let's do it. And then, and chiropractic work, right? So like adjusting, cracking, all that. On Yelp, I found this lady, and the Yelp reviews, I'm someone who reads Yelp reviews, were like miraculous, practically like too good to be true. And I'm like, you know, I think Lorenzo and I are both very skeptical. We're always kind of like, right? Because we try to budget, we try to really take care of the finances that we have. And so it's not cheap to go in and spend a few $100s to do something that may not even work. But I think I was in so much pain that I was willing to give it a shot, especially with it being your health. You know, you want to be proactive in your health. Of course, you don't want to get to the level of like, now I'm in pain, help me. Right. But this is also something that is like going to be a lifelong thing for me to be dealing with, it seems like. So I'm like, I got to give this a shot. So we validated how we felt, whatever.
And we had also like previous, you know, comments from other people that had issues with their backs, and they really were impressed with how they felt after they had, you know, chiro work done on them. Yeah. And so that kind of,
I feel like there's a lot of mixed reviews.
A little more. It all depends, right? It's like everyone gets their car washed, but there's different places to go to, so you're gonna have a different experience.
Yeah. So I think it also depends on the doctor themselves, 100%. Right? Like customer service, your experience. You're right.
It always depends. So
went in there. I'm high on customer service, right? I want to feel like I'm being respected, feel like I have autonomy, I can speak for myself, no one's rushing me. So this particular doctor doesn't take insurance, so she was able to spend a lot of time with me. It felt like she allowed me,
no good session.
It was a long time. She allowed me to sit there and go over like everything I had in my mind that I wanted to share with her, as far as like my journey in my life, my pain that I have along my neck, shoulder, all along my right side, basically. And I really appreciated that. And then I said, you know, let me share my story with you as far as my pain journey. And then you ask me questions so you can fill in the gaps of what I may have missed that you want to know. Mm-hmm. And so that's exactly what we did. And she was able to kind of ask me a few questions, which I can't think of right now, but she asked me and it kind of filled in the gaps for her a little bit. We started off doing the massage therapy. So I actually like disrobed and everything. So she was really able to get in there. The massage itself felt amazing. As soon as she started, she kept saying like, you have inflammation here, you've got inflammation here. And like the interesting part to me was that every part she would say, like pinpoint where she would say, you've got inflammation going on here, it's exactly where I experienced the pain, right? So like I wasn't very descriptive as to like the pinpoints of it. Anyway, so she did that felt amazing. She gave me like this foot massage with like a bone texture. I guess it's an actual bone, but it's like meant to really break up a lot of I guess layers of tension that you have in your foot, which I do experience. So she did that. The massage alone, I was telling Lorenzo, it felt like a spa day. Like, let me just go there to get a massage and then just have the added medical treatment on top.
Like,
I don't want to go to a spa for fun, you know?
Happy early birthday.
So that was great. And then she proceeded to do the acupuncture. And also, I want to throw in there that it never felt like we had an awkward moment. I was, you know, I'm obviously pregnant, so she and I were able to just talk about anything. It felt like a friend, like I knew her. And I love experiences like that with medical professional settings. Don't make you feel awkward, don't make you feel tense, like you want to get out there, fill in some empty space, you know, with nothing being said. Didn't feel like that at all. She also had something I wanted to mention. She also had like a pregnancy pillow. So I was actually able to lay flat on my face like a massage table with the headrest and everything. And my belly went into this like little like supportive, I don't want to say hole, but it was like there was this pillow to hold up this midsection of your torso. So you're able to lay flat face down. And so she was really able to get in there. That alone felt like so relieving, right? You have so much added weight and your spine is putting so much pressure to do certain positions when you're kind of now leaning forward. And so that provided a lot of relief in and of itself. Acupuncture. So I didn't know what to expect. Lorenzo described it as like little sting pricks that feel like, you know, because I cut his hair, and like sometimes those hairs can be very fine and sharp and they can kind of stick to your skin and kind of have this little agitation, like a splinter, like a light splinter. That's kind of what it felt like. Actually, it was like almost non-existent pain. She did it down both of the sides of my neck, shoulders, down my spine, and then my glutes. And I was surprised because I thought she would only do it on my right side, but she did it on my left side also. And on my left side, when she was putting it on, it just felt like little tiny stings, like not even full-on stings. I'd say it's in between a little mosquito bite that's almost like non-existent. You can't even feel it, but then you know, you're like, what's itching or something. Right, like it's a little noticeable. And then maybe like, I don't know, like a little thorn, like a spiky something of a plant touching you. So I thought that there was a little bit of pain associated with it. When she went on my right side, it felt like I could feel the stings, but when she got to my lower back / glutes, the sensitivity was so intense. I felt my skin like contracting every time she would put it in, and it would just kind of like react. And when she got to a certain part in my glutes where that sciatica kind of curves, if you kind of know where that's at, it travels down your leg, it was hypersensitive. But she put it in, and I think like just even the nervousness of having these needles put in and not knowing what to expect was making my whole body tense up and be a little bit like, I wasn't fearful in my mind, you know, like I was very like, oh, whatever, it's not a big deal, it doesn't hurt that bad, whatever. But my body, my nervous system felt like it was really like reacting to like feeling tension. Put it on, and then she said, and I noticed that I started sweating. She said it's supposed to happen, but I don't know if it was like a mixture between my tension and whatever's supposed to happen. I still don't understand acupuncture and what it's actually supposed to do. So she did that, left it on for a while. She sat there with me, so she didn't leave me like Lorenzo's experiences that he's had. So I felt very comfortable. And then after we had that in for a while, she took it out. Taking it out, I felt was the easiest part. Like it didn't hurt at all. And then there was this one time where she had put a needle on my left side, and then she went to touch it because I told her, oh my gosh, that one hurt. She went to touch it, and I'm like, like it really hurt. Took it out, and then after that, that's when she had me lay on my back and did like some cracking and adjusting throughout my back. My hips didn't really pop, but then I feel like they pop on their own. I've always cracked a lot of my joints, but I don't find relief from popping anything, which is why I was a little bit more skeptical. Anyway, so a lot of my upper back did pop, and so she did that. So that was like it kind of bypassed my mind. It wasn't that significant. And then at the very end, she had me get dressed again. So I had my full-on clothes, and she showed me. So if you know the skeletal system, on your back, you have these two kind of back plates at the end of your, not your spine, right? So your spine's in the middle, but you've got these two kind of back hips is what they are. And then you have like a bone that kind of curves in, and it's your pubic bone right down in your, what is it called? Your, not pelvis. Is it pelvis? Sorry guys, it's been a while since I've taken an anatomy class. Your bones come together in the front. There's a ligament that's right in the middle that is typically extremely hard to keep the structure of your hips in place. But when you're pregnant and when you're delivering and when you're breastfeeding, if that's what you do, your body releases a hormone that lets all of your joints become loose. And so she was telling me that she thinks what happened was when everything was loose and I delivered my other children, either a combination of the epidural, combination of the way I delivered, the position I was in, what happened after, and because I didn't get adjusted after my pregnancies, my hip, so my pubic bone wasn't aligned the way it's supposed to be. My right side was like sticking out higher and then fused together to get hard again to keep everything in place. And so just all of this area from the front to the back has been agitated throughout the years, the many years, rubbing up on my sciatic nerve, my back, my glutes, just, and so that whole area has just become very agitated and increased inflammation. And now we're back being pregnant, and so those bones and ligaments, are starting to get loose again, and so there's an opportunity to adjust and do all of that work. But we're starting at like instead of you starting here or like barely creeping over, we're like over here. So the very last thing she did was she, like, I don't know what you would call it, adjusting. It felt like rubbing and pushing down into my pelvic bone. And I could, so she's like, do you see how this one is here? So she touched the one on my left side, pressed down in, and I could feel where the bone stopped, like where she starts pushing. And then she's like, and then look at this side. And then where she was pushing, it felt way higher than the other one did. So she was like rubbing and pushing crazy hard. And that was painful. As far as painful in the sense where, how can I describe it? Like the pointiness of the bone, I could feel like rubbing up on skin. It's almost like when you get a bruise, right? Or like, I don't know how to describe it, but I could feel the pointiness underneath the surface of my skin. And then you're pressing the skin down as hard as you can, like to really, she was really trying to position it and adjust it to kind of level out.
I think it's like the when your shin bone, because it's like like literally you can feel the bone on your shin, and when you hit yourself right there, it's like immediate. So I think you're able to feel that skin rubbing up against the bone. So like if I rub my shin right here, I could feel it. And if I press down, it's painful.
Okay, now imagine, so your shin is flat though. Imagine it's coming out at a point.
Yeah, so then you're adding that to it.
It was that painful. And I just kept, and she's like, I'm so sorry. I know this is very uncomfortable. I'm like, just do it. Don't worry about it. And I'm just like breathing through the pain. And so she would go in there, right, and do that. And then she would look at my legs and like, so she would put my feet up and my feet were like off. Like one was higher than the other, which I've seen videos of like chiropractic work, I guess, the adjusting, how they measure like the feet. And so she kept going back into the pelvis, pushing, pressing down, doing the thing. And then she would go back and check my feet. And she did it probably about 3 solid good times until my feet kind of adjusted and were aligned. Today, I feel like bruising in that area. some people would be a little bit afraid of that, like during maternity, but it wasn't scary to me, and it's still not scary to me because I know that it's way below where the baby is, where my womb is. Like, I know exactly where the baby is. You know, I'm feeling a lot of kicking, and I look at like videos and apps and everything to see where the baby's positioned, my ultrasounds, and the pubic bone is like way below even that, right? So like the womb sits right in the pubic area, but then it starts to grow out of it for the growth of the baby. Anyway, that was my experience of what happened. I described to Lorenzo before I went in, I felt like I was at a 9. And I told him, I'm not expecting to go to a 0. Like, I was feeling optimistic, still skeptical, and I knew that a placebo would not work. So I was willing to still pay and see what would happen because I was in that much pain. And so automatically, like, I told him, because she did have me test out my body in certain positions. She's like, does it hurt? Does it hurt the way that it was or whatever? And it wasn't hurting the way that it was, which I was very, very familiar with. I'm still very familiar with the pain I was experiencing, but I still felt pinching right in that area. But I'm like, I'm sure it's going to take a few sessions. The pain was at a 9. Like, I would consider it pretty miraculous if I go down from like a 9 to a 0. Like, I would think it would gradually decrease, maybe by 2 levels or 1.5 levels every time you go in, because it's kind of like a maintenance. Mm-hmm. So she told me, don't walk on stairs, don't do any like crazy jolting or whatever, don't carry a bag that's super heavy on one side, which all makes sense. Just be careful, take it easy, walk, but don't overwalk. And sounds contradicting and difficult, but I understand like my spine and trying to keep it all aligned, my pelvis, like I'm not going to rotate it, whatever. You guys, it hurt to sit on the toilet, turn around, grab toilet paper, like just these movements of rotating my spine. Okay, sitting down, standing up, laying down, can't lay on my right side, so on. When I walked out of there, I told Lorenzo, I'm going to be really realistic. Like, I'm trying to be very honest with myself. I went from being a 9 to a 3, I said, right?
I was like, wow, that's a big...
It was a huge leap. Went home, took a nap, and then I felt like in the night, all of the area that she was working on, throbbing, like hurting. Just like, not like the pain I was experiencing, but just like impact pain. So I'm like, okay, it's achy. It's achy. So she said it would be getting better tomorrow. So I waited today, right? I noticed right away as I was waking up in the morning, I'm like, I woke up on the right side, which I never can. I can only spend maybe a few minutes on my right side. Woke up on my right side, and I noticed, because I was kind of waking up in the morning slowly, and I'm like, wow, I don't feel any pain right now. Too good to be true. Stand up, go use the restroom, sitting down, rotating my spine carefully, and I'm not feeling the pain that I was. Little pinch in the back, nothing compared to where I was. And then I went and I started walking around, but you're in your house, you know, like you're not walking for reals. Mm-hmm. And so I told Lorenzo, if I could compare where I'm at right now in my house, doing little things without really walking during the day and seeing what it actually feels like, I'm at a 0.5. That sounds dramatic to me.
Very dramatic.
I'm at a 0.5. That is like insane. Mm-hmm. And now we did a little bit of driving. It's still like 8 a.m. in the morning right now. But I drove over here. I'm starting to have a little bit of aching. Nothing compared like yesterday. And so we did walk up to go leave our daughters in a camp. And so as I'm walking, I am still feeling some aching. I am still feeling some pinching. But I would say I'm at a level like 2. So that's the update so far, you guys. And now this video has become a story time, super crazy long video, but I just want to provide as many details as possible in case some of you are experiencing the same pain, maternity, pregnancy, and want to know what my experience is, feel skeptical also. I think that it's worth it for you to give whatever you think is going to help you a try, an attempt, because when you're in pain, something's off and something needs to be addressed, especially when it comes to maternity, I think, right? You want to make sure that your baby is safe and everything's fine. And so when you're in pain, I think, or I felt like I was risking damaging this pregnancy or having something, I don't know, I guess I just always think of the worst that could happen. And I think it's such a good thing to be proactive rather than reactive to a lot of what.
I think that's where you were at. We were like at a 9. Her pain was just increasing to the point where she couldn't even walk. So at that point, we were super reactive.
Yes.
Even though she told me that she wanted to do the chiro.
Yes, I've been talking about it for weeks.
For some time now. And so
and I think what really pushed me over the edge was definitely this week, not even being able to function, very disabled.
I had no choice. I think at that point I'm like, well, just go already.
But also thinking like I still got like 18 weeks, you know, Lord willing. Like that's a long time, and then plus the weight is being added weekly, you know.
The baby is only a pound right now,
so I
have more pounds to go.
We just made the call, we did it. It feels great. I'll definitely update you either on Instagram. I know this video might be way too long, but I'm gonna post it.
And then the woman also specializes in pregnant women, so she's done this for several years now.
Many years.
She has
experience.
Children. She has young children. What, like 4 months old? Her youngest is 4 months. So at this point, my concern was, does the person that's doing this know that you're pregnant? And so I think that checked all the boxes for me. Is that that's her specialty.
Yeah.
She does that.
There was peace of mind.
And then there's a lot of people that, you know, were, like she said, unbelievable comments and experiences that were saying,
they were literally unbelievable. It's
yeah,
like,
they were literally
unbelievable because they're
like, my pain was gone just in one session, and it's kind of like, well, at least we could try one session, and then, you know,
see how
at the end of the day, we have the ability she has the ability to say, hey, you know, you can stop right here if she feels uncomfortable or she's not, you know, feeling that the process is helping her in any way. She could just stop. And so that was my concern. My concern was more, does she know what she's doing? You know, we don't want her to hurt the baby.
Which are all valid concerns. I think people should have.
Because like chiro, you just think chiro and you're like cracking, pushing.
And she didn't really like overdo it with cracking and adjusting in that sense, you know. Anyway, I had a great experience. I expect to go back this pregnancy, like just during this pregnancy, at least minimum one time. Ideally, I would like to go maybe twice in these next 18 weeks. And then I'm definitely for sure after baby, no matter how our labor and delivery go, I definitely am going back afterward. To try to, as everything is still moldable and loose, to try to correct anything that can be corrected, right? There's that proactivity, right? So one after I labor and deliver, and then definitely like one like down the line, because I'm planning to nurse my baby, and so and I know that those hormones are still up and running, and so anything can be disadjusted even at that time. But if we're kind of doing the major correction, it feels like now, and then hopefully it'll just keep getting better and better. And so it's something I'm like thinking about running in my brain as like a set aside budget financially to kind of cover those costs. Unfortunately, the insurance isn't covering it, so we'll just have to take on the brunt of the work. And that really is why we budget, right? Because we want to be able to pay for the things that we need. That's number one priority that we need, such as health. And then secondary, the things that we want to be able to cover.
Mm-hmm.
And there you go. We will get off our soapbox. And I'll let you know how it goes. I don't know if it'll be on another video or if we'll do it, like, share it on Instagram. But yes. Anything else?
I'm glad she's not in pain.
I'm glad I'm not in pain.
And the scary part was the pain was inducing contractions, and that was scary.
Yes.
And so now she woke up at a 0.5. Yeah, right now she's at a 2. But
right now, sitting down,
nonetheless, like from 9 to a 2 is.
I'll have a better idea this week once we're doing things that we need to. I switched my purse, you know. I feel like within the next few days I'll have more of a realistic look at what happened or what it feels like. But it sounds too good to be true, even going from a 9 to getting some pain relief to be a 0.5 in the morning. It's like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, I don't want you to take my word for it and then be like, what do you mean 0.5? I'm over here like at a 7 or whatever. But
everybody's different. Everybody's body's different.
Everybody's different. And if I feel this way, my point of this video is just to encourage you that if you're in pain and you feel like you're gravitating towards trying something that can cause you relief or adjustment, being, you know, helping your situation, it's worth it to give it a try.
It's definitely worth it. Because what is your alternative? What other alternative do you have? Especially being pregnant.
Yeah.
You're really pretty much left to, you know, I don't know. I really don't know what other alternative you may have.
I can't imagine not doing this, what a few weeks would look like for me. I think I would be on bed rest, literally, like, and that would be uncomfortable also. So anyway, ask me any questions if you need to, and I will do my best to try to answer them and fill in any gaps that I may have missed. This video has run on for way longer, so okay, bye.